We were all hoping and praying to see the Blue Jays come out of LA with one victory. That's all we're asking for, is one win. And everything was going according to plan until the bottom of the 9th inning. Derek Law goes out there for the save. I guess no Ken Giles because he pitched yesterday. They don't want to pitch him on back-to-back days, I guess. And Derek Law, who's been incredible for the Blue Jays over the last little while, gave up 3 hits and 3 earned runs. And that 2-0 lead they had going into the 9th, you lose 3-2 on yet another walk-off win for the Dodgers. And the Blue Jays get swept. They've now lost 5 straight games. Tough to watch. But there are some positives to take from a game like this. Number 1 is, yes, the Jays only had 5 total hits, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he had 3 of them. Vladdy went 3 for 4 in the ballgame with the home run. He hit a deep drive off of Kenta Maeda. That made it a 2-0 game at the time. And it was an incredible shot from Vladdy. Gets the hanger, doesn't miss it, and crushed it into the seat. So that 3 for 4 ball game, his average is now cracked over that 280 mark. It's 282 for Vladdy, and he continues to show us glimpses of what the future is going to be for this young player. And with those 3 hits today, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. now has 100 hits this season. I mean, I get it. It's not the craziest of numbers, but for a young kid, you like what you're seeing from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Bichette and Biggio both went 0 for though and struck out 4 times combined. Rough night at the plate for those 2 batters. Grichuk went 1 for 4 in the ball game. All right, he also scored a run. Billy McKinney went 1 for 2, and that's about it though. 5 hits. And another reason why I'm very upset the Blue Jays lost this ball game is because Jacob Waguespack deserved the victory. He was spectacular. Jacob Waguespack down in AAA in his minor league career, his numbers aren't good. But this game against the Dodgers, and we talked about it in yesterday's video, we wanted to see what Jacob Waguespack against these good teams. You pitch well, you're staying in the bigs. Look at Sean Reid-Foley, look at Thomas Pannone. Both guys did not pitch well. Boop, back in Buffalo they are. And you look at Waguespack, he went 7 innings, allowed 1 hit and 1 walk, and struck out 5 guys. He was outstanding, was Jacob Waguespack. And, I mean, he deserved the victory. Jason Adam came out there and threw 2/3 of an inning, walked the batter, got a strikeout, and including an incredible diving catch from Vladdy Guerrero Jr. at third base. And people continue to say he's not a third baseman, but he's making plays like that. How about you let the kid play, let him develop, let him grow, then you judge. But I like what we're seeing there, and Derek Law obviously picks up the loss and just implodes. Implodes there in the 9th inning as the Jays get walked off 3-2 by the Dodgers. And the Jays had a 2-0 lead. Derek Fisher in the top of the 2nd and an RBI ground out. We talk about it getting productive outs, and that was one of them. Derek Fisher, look, I got to say, he's been I wouldn't say he's been great as a Blue Jay, but he's been productive. He has 4 home runs with the Blue Jays this year. He's got quite a few RBIs. He scored a total of 18 runs. Ideally, all of those aren't with the Blue Jays, but I like what we've seen from Derek Fisher. I like the extra bit of good stuff that he's doing right now. And Biagini is not even playing for the Houston Astros. He's actually in AAA. Is Joe Biagini. And Sanchez over his last few starts has been awful, and he actually went on the injured list if I'm not mistaken. And the young one, Cal Stevenson, has not hit well at all down in Advanced A for them. So look, as much as we want to say that the trade looks awful and all that, all the players that have been sent over to Houston really haven't performed. As of yet. All right? But for the Blue Jays, you take this for what it is. You take this loss for what it is. It sucks. It's embarrassing. You lost 3 in a row. You've now lost 5 straight games. You got swept by the Dodgers, and you've lost 5 straight. But you got to find a way to move on. Now, On to more fun things, because that's what this season's supposed to be about, fun, even though you're not going to win many games. The Blue Jays now head to Seattle. And it's Air Canada West. You know, obviously it's going to be jam-packed with Blue Jay fans, and the atmosphere in Seattle is second to none. It's a place that I always want to go visit because of that reason, to see the Blue Jays there, and to see the fans, and to see that whole atmosphere. It must be incredible. They open up a 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners this weekend. All right, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Trent Thornton on the mound for the Blue Jays in Game 1 there tomorrow night. It's a 10-10 first pitch, and more late ones. And Justice Sheffield on the mound for the Seattle Mariners, obviously the great young stud of the New York Yankees pitching staff, but obviously sent to the Seattle Mariners. All right, so again, you know, he's only pitched 3 innings in his big league career. He has an ERA of 6. You don't really want to dwell on that too much. But a lot of the minor leaguers, guys like Vladdy and Bo and Cavan, they've seen Justice Sheffield. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out there in Game 1 tomorrow night. Game 2 goes 9-10 first pitch on Saturday. King Felix Hernandez on the mound for the Mariners. Well, not so King Felix anymore, but he only threw 38 innings this season, and he has an ERA of 6.52. Once again, not the same King Felix Hernandez as he once was. There's no starter right now for the Blue Jays. It's probably going to be a bullpen day. And then on Sunday, it's a 4-10 first pitch. Marco Gonzalez on the mound for the Mariners in the finale of the series. And again, there's no pitcher right now for the Blue Jays. Try not to sneeze. Okay, we're good. All right, and so again, I don't know if they're going to do another bullpen day or if they're going to give a guy a call. I don't know if TJ Zook's going to get a spot start. I would assume Nate Pearson's not. But again, you take this Dodgers series for what it is, guys. The Jays got blown out in Game 1. They tied it up in the 9th in Game 2. Lost in extras. Had a 2-0 lead in the 9th inning in this one. Blew it in the bottom half of the 9th. Take it for what it is. You guys want to dwell on it? Go right ahead. But I'm not, because the Jays are not at Dodgers caliber right now. We all know that. All right, so let's get down to the minor leaguers, and let's start discussing what these young kids did today. Well, in Buffalo, and we talked about it when Nate Pearson had that ridiculously good outing, we talked about it and said, this guy did an amazing job against the best hitting team in the league. And they showed that tonight. They scored 20 runs off of the Buffalo Bison's pitching staff. 20 runs on 19 hits. The Buffalo Bisons had 3 runs on 3 hits. Who had the hits for Buffalo? Jonathan Davis went 1 for 4, and then a couple of the older guys had a couple hits. So Espinal had an 0 for, Forrest Wall with an 0 for, Kevin Vicuna went 0 for 1, but he scored a run, so he's still hitting 400 on the season, but not really great, not really any good things to talk about when it comes to the Bisons there today. Not very good, and their push for the playoffs, you don't want to lose a 20-3 ball game. That's just not good. Down in Double-A, New Hampshire, the Fisher Cats won 9-4 over the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. One of the greatest names in sports. You got to love it. Great offensive performance, though, by the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. 9 runs on 12 hits. Here we go. Ready for this? Cullen Large, the young one who just got called up from Advanced A Dunedin, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and scored 2 runs. He's hitting .302 in the number 2 hole. Chad Spanberger, I don't know where this guy has come from as of late, but he has been swinging a red-hot bat. He was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs, walked twice, and scored 2 runs. He's hitting .239. That batting average is going really, really, really well for Chad Spanberger. And put into perspective, guys, his numbers last season in Dunedin, he hit .231. So he's hitting .239 in Double-A. So he's gotten better. Interesting, right? That's good to see for him. Riley Adams had a good ball game, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. He's hitting .256. Kevin Smith has been ice cold lately, but he has a great ball game. It's 2 home runs. Goes 3 for 4 with a couple of RBIs, obviously on the 2 solo shots he must have had, scored 2 runs, and walked once. Still only hitting .213, though, on the season is Kevin Smith. And Logan Warmoth, who's been a horrendous offensive player for New Hampshire over the last little while, went 2 for 4 with a run scored in the game, still only hitting .187 on the season. And a very positive start for Hector Perez, a guy who's had a really, really rough season down in New Hampshire. And he pitched 4 innings, he got 4 hits, 1 run, did not walk a batter, and struck out 3. His ERA, though, is still 4.61. It's still not very very good looking numbers. But again, a guy that I can see in the AAA rotation next year, just because you want to give him that boost. He was in AA last year. He was in AA all this season. You want to give him the call to AAA next year and kind of see how he does. All right. So some good things going on down there in New Hampshire, and down in Lansing, they had 11 runs on 15 hits. Problem, they gave up 14 runs on 17 hits. And my boy Josh Winkowski, again, I don't know what's going on with him lately, but he really hasn't been well, and he didn't do a good job there today. 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 3 of them were earned, walked 2 and struck out 1. ERA is 3.45. I mean, that's still pretty good, but he hasn't been very good as of late. Josh Winkowski's really struggling down there in Dunedin over the last little while. Offensively, though, as we talked about, they had 15 hits, so there was quite a few good ones in this one. All right, Travis Young went 1 for 3, walked 3 times, and scored a couple runs. He's hitting .251 on the year. Ryan Noda went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Orla Moye went 1 for 6 with an RBI, and Casey Clemens with a great ball game. You haven't said that a whole lot about his season. He's hitting .197, but he went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He walked once, so a great ball game for him. And Beck Christopher, the catcher, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 walks. He's hitting .237, and then there was a couple of 1-fers here and there. All right, pitching-wise, there really wasn't anything good down there because they gave up a ton of runs. Down in Lansing, they lost 8-1, so again, not very good. This is not a very good day to be a Jays fan. Not the Jays blow a save, and they had a 2-0 lead, and they blow it, and just not so good things, people. You know, and the minor leagues are getting crunched around. But good things, Otto Lopez went 2 for 5. He's hitting .316 is the young kid. I love it. At second base, Yorman Rodriguez continues to hit the ball well. He was 1 for 4. He's hitting .373. Moreno has struggled lately, and I think we're really starting to see him struggle. But to become a good player, you got to find a way to get out of that struggle. He was 0 for 4 in the ball game today. His average has dropped to .284. And Griffin Conine went 1 for 3 in the ball game with a walk. Did not strike out, so that's a positive to see from Conine. He's hitting .278 on the season. All right. And down in Vancouver, Canadian boy, what's his first name? I want to say Josh, but I could be wrong. Alex Nolan, all right, Canadian boy from Burlington, Ontario, went to Brock, and I mean, he did a great job for Vancouver today. Went 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It wasn't an earned run. Walked 1 and struck out 6. His ERA is 2.85. He's done a great job down there in Vancouver this year. A guy that you're probably going to see in Lansing next year, so it's good to see for him. And offensively, the team only had 3 hits, and nothing really important, so that's about that. All right, and down in the Bluefield Blue Jays, Miguel Geraldo had a great ball game. He was 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, a walk, and a run scored. He's hitting .308 on the year. Great job for him. And Leonardo Jimenez went 1 for 5. He's hitting .272. All right, so guys, that's going to do it for the minor league stuff. We've already broken down the next series. We talked about the rough ball game that we saw there. I mean, it was a great ball game. Jacob Waguespack pitched a gem, but the Jays lost 3-2 as they blew it in the 9th inning and gave up 3 runs, and he got walked off. And Derek Law was actually pitching really well lately. You know, his ERA was down in the 4.8 something, and things were looking real nice for him. But his ERA, were they earned runs at all? Hold on a second. Derek Law, they haven't put them up yet. Okay, excuse me. But with the runs that he gave up, let me see what his ERA is now. It was 4.8, 5.13. So for Derek Law, I mean, again, it's not you can blow a game here and there, which I'm kind of upset he blew this one, but you want to go out there in your next outing and throw up zeros because you want to get back right into the swing of things afterwards. You can't let things dwell and fall apart. I gotta say, look at Tim Meza. He had that really good stretch where he was pitching really well, but since he gave up a run after that, he's been awful. You want to start showing consistency, and yeah, you have a bad outing. Oh well, it happens here and there. The best of closers have rough outings. So it's what you do after that that really shows what type of pitcher and what type of player you are at the big league level. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and you guys enjoy the first 8 innings of this ball game, smack that like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on this video, your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the minor leaguers, your thoughts on Derek Law, Jacob Waguespack's outing, because with Jacob Waguespack's outing today, with his 7 shutout innings, his ERA drops to 3.63. And if you guys know the numbers like the way I do, those numbers are very MLB serviceable. And I've loved what we've seen from Jacob Waguespack. I mean, how many innings has he pitched? I want to see this. So the 7 today, he's pitched 52 innings, and his ERA of 3.63. Now, ideally, that can change if he has an awful outing, then that can change all in an instant. But we haven't seen that from him. He hasn't had one outing where he stands out and was like, man, that is an awful outing. We have not seen that from Jacob Waguespack. What are your thoughts on him? What were your thoughts on Vladdy today? You think he's starting to get into his groove? Because he's in 282, guys. That is incredible. And I'd love to see by the end of the year if he's above 290, but I'm not going to push it. Seeing him above 280 is incredible, and I love it. And Bo Bichette with the 0-for-4 today, batting average up to 320, and Kevin Beach only hitting 206. But again, young guys going through the ropes, trying to learn and get better, and that's what they're doing. All right, so guys, I want to hear your thoughts about this game and everything. Check out main man Mo Buckets on Twitter, guys. Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. If you have not already checked them out, please go do so on their Instagram page. They can post everything Toronto Blue Jays wise, so go check them out. Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. His buddy Rob and Mo himself, they do that Instagram page, so go check it out. Once again, Blue Jays Wave. Twitter is down below. Follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Blue Jays edition in Game 1 of the... Actually, you know what? I don't... See, okay, I'll give you guys the heads up. Baseball tournament tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy weekend, but I don't know if that video is going to be up. It probably won't be uploaded right after the ball game, because we probably play on Saturday morning, and the game starting at 10:10 on Friday night. Probably won't be a good idea, so maybe... Saturday evening, it might even be Saturday night. I'm not sure exactly, depending on when games go. But I'm hoping to get to you guys before Game 2 starts. All right, but the Blue Jays do open up the 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. Air Canada West is going to be jam-packed at Safeco Field. Is it still called Safeco Field? I think it's called Safeco. Is it T-Mobile Park? Ugh, I don't like that. Safeco Field sounded better. But you know what, guys? Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow when Trent Thornton takes on Justice Sheffield in the opener, all right, of the 3-game set in Seattle. 10:10 first pitch there at Safeco Field. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talk to you guys then.